क्या आप IAS की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ, तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेनड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप IAS की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें StudyIQ.com।
Hello friends and welcome to StudyIQ. In this lecture, we will discuss about the challenges faced by the Indian Post Payments Bank or the IPPB. In a previous lecture, we have already seen the features as well as the potential or scope of the Post Payments Bank. So, in this lecture, we will mainly focus on the challenges faced by the Post Payments Bank. But before we move on to the challenges, I will give you a brief introduction about the Post Payments Bank. The Indian Post Payments Bank is a financial service provider that will operate under the country's age-old postal department. So, the payment bank will operate under the postal department of the country, that is the Indian Post. Second feature is that it is a government-owned payment bank. So, we have other payment banks in the country like the Airtel or the Paytm, but they are all private owned, but this payment bank, that is Indian Post Payment Bank, will be a government owned payment bank. Thirdly, it can accept deposits up to 1 lakh. So this is mandated by the Reserve Bank of India. The maximum cap of savings that can be accepted by the payments bank is 1 lakh rupees. Fourth feature is that there is no provision for providing loans. So this payments bank cannot provide credit facilities or loans to its customers. Only accepting deposits is possible. But even though the bank cannot provide any credit facility or loan facility, it provides a variety of other financial services. So other financial services like savings, remittances, payment services, like you can pay your electricity bill, your phone recharge, your DTH bills, etc. can be done. So payment services, etc. are done through this bank. And the primary focus of this bank is financial inclusion. So government has a goal of achieving the financial inclusion, and the Indian Post Payments Bank will help or facilitate the government in achieving the goal of financial inclusion. And the Indian Post Payments Bank will help especially in the rural and unorganized sector. So we have already seen that Indian Post Payment Bank will operate under the postal department, and the Indian postal system has a wide network of branches across India. It can be in the villages, rural areas, backward areas, deserts. Despite of the topography or the geographical condition of a region, Indian postal system has wide network or branches all over the country. So this can be utilized by the Indian Post Payments Bank. So in this regard, if we utilize the wide network of branches that are available across India for the postal department, this will help in bringing financial inclusion, especially in the rural and the unorganized sector of the Indian economy. And next, it provides a digital platform. So the financial services under the payments bank is done through digital platform, and therefore it becomes more accessible. So even from the remote areas or remote locations, people will have access to this payment bank because it is done on a digital platform. So these are the important features of the Indian Post Payments Bank, and a detailed lecture of the Indian Post Payments Bank is already done. It is available on the StudyIQ channel and also on my Facebook page. You can access it. So in this lecture, we will give primary focus on learning about the challenges of the Indian Post Payments Bank. Now coming to the challenges, the first and the most important challenge this Post Payment Bank would face is whether it can manage to earn profits required to survive as a business entity. So the Indian Post Payments Bank is a financial service provider, and it is also a business entity. So every business entity functions on the revenue earned by them. So at least they should be able to meet the expenditures from the revenue. So only then it can function properly. Even though they are not able to make profit, at least the revenue should be able to meet the expenditure of the business entity. So when we consider Indian Post Payments Bank as a business entity, the question is whether it can survive as a business entity. That means whether it will be able to make some profit that is required to maintain the business of the payments bank. Now let us analyze what are the reasons for this. First of all, we have already seen that they can accept deposits of up to 1 lakh, but there is no provision for loans. So there are certain restrictions imposed on the payments bank by the RBI. Reserve Bank of India is the apex bank in the country. It is a central bank. So it imposes certain restrictions on banks, and in case of the payments bank, they have imposed certain restrictions. What are the restrictions? First one, they can accept deposits up to 1 lakh. And secondly, there is no provision for providing loan or credit facility. But now if we take the example of a normal bank, a commercial bank, what is the profit or spread of the commercial bank? They accept deposits and they also provide credit facilities or loans to its customers. So for the savings or deposits they accept, they give certain percentage of interest, and for the loans or the credit they get some percentage of interest, and there is a difference between these two interest rates. So the interest on deposits will be slightly lower than the interest that they get from the loans, and this difference of interest is the profit margin or what we call spread of the commercial banks. So that is in case of a commercial bank. But when it comes to the payments bank, what is the problem? The challenge here is that they can accept deposits, but there is no provision for loan facilities. So they cannot function as a normal bank because they cannot give loans. And because of this problem, from where will the profit come? They will have to give interest on the deposits. So if the bank does not provide interest on deposits, nobody will deposit with the bank. So it is mandatory that the payments bank will have to provide interest to the customers or depositors, but they cannot at the same time provide loans. And this feature of the payments bank make payments bank a pure deposit banking. Now coming to the interest rates, the Indian Post Payments Bank promises to pay 4% of interest for the deposits the customers make. So they have to provide 4% of interest. But from where will they provide this 4% interest? They do not provide loans. So the source of interest, one is they charge fee on money transfers and other financial services. So a fee is levied. And secondly, this deposits that are received by the payments bank will be invested in government securities. So government securities will provide certain interest, and the interest earned by the government securities will be provided back to the depositors. So this is the only two provisions. But even though the payments bank will get fees and interest from government securities, it is not certain that this will be sufficient to cover the interest as well as the operation cost. It is not only the interest that has to be provided to the depositors, but the payments bank will have certain operational cost also. Like we have seen, this bank functions on a digital platform. So technological utility is made, upgradation of technology is necessary, manpower or human resources are involved. So all this needs to be maintained. So there is certain operational cost. So this has also to be met along with the interest payments. So it is not sure that whether the government security interest that are earned by the IPPB will be enough to meet the interest requirements and operational cost of the bank. Now, second major challenge is the stiff competition from the private companies. We know that even before the launch of IPPB, the Indian Post Payments Bank, there were private players in the market like the Paytm, the Airtel, etc. So there is a stiff competition from this private players as well. So what is the speciality of the private players? They have more funds, they are more efficient, they have more technology, they have better human resource, they are more customer friendly. So all these features make them more attractive for the customers. So they have a competitive edge as compared to the government owned IPPB or the Post Payments Bank. So This creates a more competitive environment for the post payments bank to function, and more competition means the revenue and the profit margins will come down. So if there is more competition in the market, there will be lesser revenue and lesser margins, and if there is monopoly in the market, that is the existence of only one player, then the revenue and the profit margins will go up. That is a market rule. So when there is perfect competition in the market, one individual player will not be able to reap all the revenue or profit margins from the market. So this is happening in case of the payments bank as well. The private players have more competitive edge and other facilities compared to the post payments bank. So the revenue and the profit margins will come down for the post payment bank, and we have already seen it is very difficult for the post payment bank to even meet the operational cost and interest requirements. And on the top of that, we have seen that the Indian post payment banks will be levying certain fees on the financial services provided by them. So this is because they have to meet their interest requirements. So levying fees for financial services means this will attract lesser number of customers because they have to provide a fee. But in case of the private companies, they would provide most of the financial services for free of cost. So if you have used Paytm or any other payments bank, you will experience that there is no service charge or fee levied from you for any of the financial services provided by them. So in contrast to that, if the government owned payments bank is levying fees for the financial services, this will reduce the competitiveness and will attract lesser number of customers to the payments bank. So these are the two major challenges faced by the Indian Post Payments Bank. And considering the reach or potential of this post payment bank for a rapid financial inclusion across the rural and backward India, the government should have to provide more focus and attention to the post payments bank. So if more focus and attention is given to the payments bank, then there is no doubt that IPPB will be able to increase the financial inclusion across India and especially among the rural and unorganized sector of the economy. You can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page. Thank you.
क्या आप IAS की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ, तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेन ड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप IAS की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें StudyIQ.com।